We will farm anybody's garden. 4-acre field, that is literally a glorified garden. But you get what you get. Good morning. Kind of. Mid-morning. A little late. Welcome to another episode of First Brand Farms. We are almost done threshing our wheat. And kind of getting a late start this morning because there was a lot of dew. You know what dew is? Not Mountain Dew. It is moisture. I don't know the correct definition. It's just moisture that's like in the air. Makes things wet. And threshing wheat goes so much better if everything's dry. So kind of getting a late start this morning because there's a lot of moisture in the air. We're going to diesel up the combine, get the air compressor, try to blow it all off. The air, we've had a lot of wind lately, and the air just kind of went stagnant last night. It's kind of wild. So the windows are dirty, everything is dirty. Maybe you can see it with the camera, but the windows are dirty. I'm going to blow off all the dust just so we have a good fresh start to the day. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but I like it. I like to start with you might say a clean slate. So anyways, that's what we've got going on. So we're gonna work on that for just a little bit. So we're just about done with wheat harvest. If everything goes well today and tomorrow, we will finish. This is almost our last field of soft white winter wheat. And it's doing about average. But overall, it's been a great year, great crop year. We're, I would say, a little above average on everything we've done so far. So can't complain about that, but I can complain about the prices. They have been in the toilet. So anyways, it is what it is. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. I'm gonna throw a fit. Farmers always throw a fit. But yeah. All right. I'm gonna give this the old blowdown. I got chaff in my eyes. It's like permanently there during wheat harvest. It gets even worse when we start baling the straw. Anyways, we're pretty much ready. Just waiting for one thing to come from the shop. Water. I need water. I forgot to grab water this morning. But yeah, got the combine mostly cleaned up, ready to go. Look how beautiful this area is. Man, I love living here. The neighbors, they just got done baling their straw over there. Neighbors over here watering their hay. Got this wheat field here. We're gonna start on this edge. We started this field yesterday afternoon. We got quite a bit done. It's a little 38-acre field, which is honestly our average size, our average field size. Kind of wild. All right, my waters are here and I can go. Okay, this is in a It's not a new combine, but it's new to us, newish. We've had it for about 3 years. It's a 2013 model, and I love that. There's a little refrigerator-ish thing up there. All right, we're turning the combine on. We're turning the threshing mechanism in. Yes. Anyways, as I was saying, this is a newer to us combine, and I get, like, you know, people get excited when they get new stuff. Everyone does, right? You get a new car, you're excited. It's like, it's the coolest car ever, right? You get a new tractor, you're excited. It's the best tractor ever, right? I'm not trying to be like full of myself or anything, but as far as combines go, although this is a little bit older, this has been my favorite combine so far. It's a 2013. It was a little bit of a learning curve to get to figure out how to run this because it's German. Even though it's a yellow, it's still a Claas. Story behind that is Claas was branded as Cat, as a recognizable brand when they first came to the US. Actually, they were branded as Ford in their very first introduction to the US. But anyways, they got branded as Cat, but they were still Claas design. Just branded as Cat and had Cat engine, some Cat parts. But Claas has all but gone away from that. And then in, I believe, 2020 or 2021, they went to their famous green and white and red wheel design. But anywho's, this has been my favorite combine. It does such a good job at threshing. It's been reliable as far as breakdowns and parts and everything else. I've been very impressed. And the number one reason we bought this, okay, there's two like number one reasons. Number one is price. Price will always determine our purchases. Yeah, we'll put it that way, our purchases. Price will always determine what we purchase and why. But number two, second to number one, is service. The Claas dealership, Mountain View Equipment, top-notch service. There's a reason that all the guys who have dairies and have corn choppers, most of them have Claas, and it's 100% to do with service. Because really, at the end of the day, if you're buying new, price is very competitive. It's very similar to anything else you get, at least in this area. And so really it just comes down to service. Who's going to offer me the best service in the most timely manner when I need it most and have the most parts and pieces on hand when I need it? Yep. That's my 2 cents. Anyways, I'm going to finish up the edge of this field here where I actually have to drive. And then when we get on the other side, we'll get the GPS going, and then I can show you a couple more things that are going on with the combine and what we're looking at. So what I'm looking at in front of me on the header, so I don't know if you knew this or not, but the thing that's spinning around right here, that's called the reel. And the reel, the whole purpose of the reel is to put back pressure onto the knife so it can push the wheat into the header. And then we have the auger here that obviously is sliding everything to the middle. And then there's knives, cutters at the bottom. And then under that is a chain that is feeding into the machine. Pretty simple. A lot of guys have draper headers. Our last combine had a draper header, which is instead of an auger going across, it's belting. I like the draper header better, but this auger's not bad. It's not bad. It's what came with the machine, and we just kind of stuck with it. Once again, price point, but it's not bad. It's worked well for us. And then, yeah, over here. So typically, you see the windrows out there? Typically, we do not windrow behind our winter wheat. We like to cut taller, leave more stubble in the ground, and spread all the straw and chaff out, because we will come in later, and you will see that. I'll make a video on that, but we come in later with a flail mower, and that flail mower is used to, it's got flails underneath, you know, beating it, and it'll windrow the straw. Works really well. And we like the job it does versus the combine. We can bale all day long. We don't have to worry about, you know, stopping for the heat in the middle of the day. I don't know if that's a thing everywhere, but for some guys behind certain combines, if you don't chew up the straw enough, it actually makes the bales fluffier and not pack in as tight. And the flail mower will actually like crush the stems of the straw. It does a really good job for us. It also will pick up some of the chaff off the ground. We've had really good luck with it. It makes really nice square tight bales behind it, and it's just what we do. So if everything goes well today, we are going to move from this field to the next field, which is a 4-acre field. We will farm anybody's garden. 4-acre field, that is literally a glorified garden, but you get what you get. So we're going to move to the 4-acre field after this, and then we've got another field that we actually had to abandon because it was too green up next to the edge of another field. I don't know if we were getting water from those guys or maybe extra fertilizer from that field. Not sure what happened, or maybe it's just more humidity because that field is potatoes and it just stays green, you know, and the humidity comes off of that maybe. I don't know what it was. Doesn't matter. But yeah, so we've got that, which is maybe another 5-7 acres. And then from there, we're going to move to a 21-acre field. And we could potentially finish that field today as well. And after that, we've got another 4-acre field that if that 21-acre field gets finished today, we'll move to that one. That means we will move from one, if you count the field we're in, 1, 2, you can do the math. What is it, like 5 fields? Yeah. Meanwhile, there's people out there that are farming full sections, and that's their one field. That is one field, a full section. Full section is 640 acres. It's a square mile. Lucky them. It's all good. It's all good. We do pretty well with our small fields. But that's what's going on behind me. That is the grain tank. That's where all the clean grain goes. There's a window here behind me, and the window's kind of dirty. I tried to clean it this morning. It's hard to get to actually clean by hand. I just use the air compressor and try to blow the dust off. It's okay. Anyway, as you can see, there's the auger coming out the top. I believe this bin here will hold 225 bushels. End of row is not approaching. I think it's 225 bushels. And then on wheat, so bushels, fun story. A lot of people think bushel is a measure of weight. It is not a measure of weight. It is a measure of volume or space, but often referred to as a weight because how do you measure space when you're hauling trucks in and you use scales and all that? So your standard bushel of wheat is going to weigh 60 pounds per bushel. And so when you take your, and everything we do is in bushels, and I don't really understand why, like I do, but I don't understand where bushels came from. I digress. So when you go to the elevator and you sell your wheat, you sell it per bushel, which is basically per 60 pounds. So when you weigh your truck in, they do their calculation and they tell you how many bushels you brought in. But I'm speculating that some people will go just off of a 60-pound weight, you know, whatever. Like your truck's net weight is, say, 600 pounds, right? That would be 100 bushel, right? In theory. But they also will take a measuring cup, which is a portion of a bushel, and it's got all of its calculations and all that, and it'll measure how much that particular volume is and compared to a bushel. And so if your test weight, this is your test weight, is less than 60, then they are going off of less than 60. But you get the idea. Not all wheat weighs the same because there's more chaff in it, or there's it was just not as good of a crop for whatever reason, smaller kernels. A lot of factors change your bushel weight, and that's called your test weight. But we're all shooting for 60 pounds because that is the American standard test weight per bushel for wheat. Barley is different. Barley is much lighter. Corn is different because it's a bigger kernel. I think, is corn 58? I could be wrong. I think it's 58. I think barley is 48. 48 pounds per bushel. And if you want to know, I believe a bushel is equivalent to like 9 liquid gallons. So if you imagine what 9 gallons of milk look like, that's what that's how much a bushel is. Okay, here's what I'm looking at when I am running the combine. So you got your typical control setup. You got your joystick here, which is forward and reverse is a hydrostatic drive. So a little bit forward goes a little bit faster, a little bit back goes a little bit slower. It's based on a hydraulic drive system. Obviously, I'm looking out here at the header and the wheat conditions, but I'm also looking at all my sensors here. So these sensors here are telling me how much grain I'm losing out the back end of the machine. This one is on the back of the rotor. This one's on the back of the sieve. The sieve is the shaker that's catching the wheat. The rotor is, this one actually has 2 rotors. It's the little spinny thing that is trying to get the wheat knocked out of the heads. And then we have a header position. We can scroll through here. We can have like engine information, our speed, engine load. This is our moisture here. We can scroll through here, fuel, auto steering, other things, header information. I'm gonna say, as far as combines go, this is not the most intuitive system, but once you get to know it, it's not bad. It's still not my favorite. Wouldn't say it's my favorite. The newer ones are way more intuitive, give you a lot more information, a little bigger screen. I've demoed one of the new ones. It was I've done both the Treon and the 8600. Awesome machines, both of them. And anyways, a little more intuitive, but that's the gist of it. And then next we have a switch here that allows us to do lateral tilt on our header. And then if we switch it over, it engages or disengages the flex bar, the knife on the bottom of the header. It engages and disengages that to be able to flex or just be rigid. And this is how we turn on the machine, basically the PTO, power takeoff, all the inner workings of the machine. So on this one is your header and throttle control. And then this is different menu items, so you can adjust the machine as you go. So a combine is, oh, I need to adjust that for sure. A combine is actually a really simple, complicated machine. Oh, sorry. We pause this message for, see that? My beacon's on. That means that I am almost, I'm at 70% tank capacity on the grain tank. So we're gonna unload there. Oh, that's something I didn't show you. Let me show you that. Let me show you the joystick. So this operates header height. This operates, also it operates like my return to cut and functions, automatic functions for the header. This is my auto steer button. This is my auger, which is out right now. So I push the button and it pops it out. This is emergency stop, and this is my unload button for the auger. My unloading auger, which is right there. Yeah. So I control that all with the click of a button. Also, this tells me my grain tank capacity, where I'm at. And then when I'm full, it will give me a 70% here, and then when I'm really full, it will give me 100% full there. There's sensors back in the tank that tell me that. Okay, back to how the combine works. So we're pulling in the wheat. It takes a chain, takes a ride up to a steel drum that is spinning really fast. I'm not exactly sure the names on this. If it was on a case, it would be called an accelerator. It's just speeding things up and trying to keep things going, flowing into the machine. Turn off my auger here. And then on a Claas, which is a little different than John Deere or Case, honestly, the way they're designed. This one has a threshing drum, which is basically right between the two tires, and it goes it's spinning the same direction as I'm driving, if that makes sense. Because on like a Case or a John Deere, it's perpendicular to the direction you're going. This one is going the same direction, so the crop is feeding straight into it. I hope this is all making sense. And like I said, I will try to get a diagram posted on this video to see if that will help, or if we get flagged for that. Hopefully we don't. Anyways, there's a drum spinning, and it's got some like knuckles on it, I guess, more or less, like little pieces of metal that are the size of my fist, right? And they're just kind of threshing with an E. I'll have you know that threshing is what you do to wheat. Thrashing is what you do when you're listening to metal music. Anyways, it's threshing the wheat. It's beating the wheat up against a screen grate, and that grate kind of follows the contour of the steel drum. And then from there it goes to another one, which is like a split auger, which splits the wheat into two. And then it goes to two rotors that are actually perpendicular to the machine, and they're spinning little corkscrews, and they're spinning the straw through and trying to beat the grains of wheat out as well. Meanwhile, the wheat is falling onto a plate that is shaking and pushing the wheat through, trying to make it as even as possible. And then it gets so far and it goes over the top of a fan, and the fan is trying to blow the light stuff, the shell or the leaves, if you will, that are around the wheat, the little tassel looking things that are on the wheat heads. It's trying to blow that stuff up and over. Meanwhile, the heavy grain will fall through these graded slats. They'll fall down into an auger that runs to the cross over here and then up into the tank. Now there's two sets of those. There's one that's called your upper sieve. That's called a sieve, by the way. It's got little holes in it. Again, I'll show you the animation. But you got the upper sieve. It's shaking, blowing air through it, trying to get things cleaned out. And if things are still a little too big to fall through the bottom sieve, they go to a tailings, is what it's called. And a tailings elevator, which brings it back up into the threshing drum, drops it back on the drum. It gets beat and going through that whole process again, trying to clean it up and put it through to the grain tank. So if it falls through the second set of sieves, it's clean, which this combine, another reason this has been one of my favorite combines is it does probably the best job that I've been around for cleaning the grain. It does such a good job. It feels like it retains grain better, and it also cleans it better. Anyways, so it drops down in that pan, another cross auger, a different elevator brings it up to the top, and that's what you're seeing behind me going in the tank, is the clean grain. And then out the back, there is little DJ turntables, basically. There's two of them, and they are catching all that chaff and possible wheat that has blown over from the sieves, not from the rotors, but from the sieves. It's catching everything from the sieves, blowing it out, because we don't want that little fine stuff. We don't need it. Now the straw is supposed to stay, the long stems, the straw is supposed to stay in the rotor. It goes up through the rotors, the twin rotors, spinning, corkscrewing, and then that straw just dumps down on the ground, and that's what's making the windrow. I hope that made sense. Now when we lift up higher and we're spreading everything, that straw actually dumps down into a like a flail beater that has knives on it, spinning around, and it's chopping the straw and then putting it into a diffuser and spreading it out behind the combine. Hopefully that made sense and isn't too much information, and maybe, yeah. But now you know. Okay, so I thought of a couple questions that some people might ask, especially the farmers in the audience, right? Especially from other parts of the US or the world even, because southern Idaho or Idaho in general, maybe let's put it the Snake River Plains going clear up into the Columbian Basin up in Washington and that area. We're a little different here in the Northwest than most areas. So you might be looking at the wheat and thinking, man, that wheat looks really thick. Well, 100% of our wheat here is irrigated, not in the whole area, but our wheat. 100% of our wheat is irrigated. There is some dry farm around, but not much. Dry farm meaning it is not irrigated, just relies on the moisture that we get throughout the year. And this year would be a terrible year to be a dry farmer, because I don't know that we've gotten 2 inches since we've planted our wheat. Anywho's, so 100% of our wheat is irrigated, and our yield this year, I'm gonna say we're anywhere from 120, and these are just the fields that we've actually gone back and checked on weights and everything like that. We're pushing 120 bushels per acre to 156. That's the best field that we've had so far, I believe, is 156. So we are average to above average for us. I would say our average is about 125, 130 bushels. That's where we kind of, I would say, average clear across almost every year. Because of irrigation, our wheat is very consistent, and that's why we have such a high average. And that's why our highs are, although pretty high, but they're not significantly high compared to like a dry farm guy that might have had a really good year versus the next year that's not good at all. Our averages are, you know, within 30 bushel. Or our highs and our lows are within usually like 30 bushel. I should say it like that, yes. Last year was extraordinary. I did have one field, although a 25 acre field, it did go 178 bushels on soft white winter wheat. So, that's why we're only going 2 miles an hour. We got high yields. Another person might ask, what are you planting? How do you plant your wheat? So we plant our wheat, we do 6-inch spacing. That's what our grain drill is set up. We have a box drill, just a 20-foot box drill, nothing real fancy. It's Great Plains. It works really well for us. I would like to upgrade. I've been eyeing the Lemkin Solitaire. It's an air seeder, but it's got some tillage in the front of it, and there's some things that I really like about it. I've heard some good things too. I don't know if that's salesman good things, you know, like, because the salesman's always going to tell you how good everything is, or if it's like, it's actually that good. So I would like to demo that and try it out and see if it would actually work for us in our operation. The only problem is it's expensive. Like, I was looking up some used ones yesterday, and they're like $140,000. It's a 20-foot drill. Of course, you can go 9 miles an hour, so that's cool. But it's only a 20-foot drill, and $140,000 for like a 2017 model, which is almost 10 years old. But really cool design, good idea. Anyways, so we plant 6-inch spacing on our wheat, and we shoot for about 120 to 140 pounds per acre. Yeah, typically you don't go off of population numbers, we go off pounds and weight per acre, and that's what we're going for, is 140 pounds per acre. So I think compared to a lot of areas, like Farmer Dan down in Texas, I know he posted a deal, and I'm trying to remember exactly, but I think he was at 50 or 70 pounds per acre. But he is dry farm. We have an advantage of irrigation here. But with that advantage of irrigation comes a lot of labor throughout the year. So to run our small farm, we have 4 full-time employees. We have moved on to spring wheat. We've finished the winter wheat, and the spring wheat is looking pretty good. Typically the winter wheat always yields a little better, but I mean, it's showing 142 on there, which again, never 100% accurate and never super like trustworthy, But it is close, and it gives us a good idea what's going on. Anyways, the elevator's closed. The trucks are basically full. I think we're done. We're done for the day. So we've got, what do we got here? 15 acres left on this field. And by the way, this is the 5th field we have done today. But yeah, we've got 15 acres left on this field, and then we got another 25 acre field and another like 16 acre field, and then we are done with wheat harvest. Pretty well where we're at. Anyways, thanks for watching. Put your questions and comments down below. If you want to learn more about something, maybe I can answer your questions, something I skipped over. But yeah, have a great day and eat more potatoes.